I am Rafa Benito, you are watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. As you may have seen in a couple of videos already this week, we are going to be bidding a sad but fun farewell to Redmen TV Towers. We've been asked to do a little bit of behind the scenes, so let's break from the norm. Tom, let's go and have a closer look. Yeah, so obviously we nearly 2 years we've been in this place, and back in the day it was a lot of plaster on here, and it meant a lot of time up ladders, chipping shit away, but we got there in the end. So yeah, so let's have a closer look at some of the stuff we've got. So we've got our Kenny print over here. I had this little collage here that was basically made up of a load of old newspaper clippings from really old editions of The Echo and what have you. Got a little bit of Shanks in there, bit of St John and that. The programmes, a lot of people have asked where do they come from. They're stuff that me and my dad have collected over the years, so a lot of the more recent ones are mine as a kid, which was at Liverpool Leicester back in 2000, and then you go back to the older ones. So this was Liverpool Stoke back in 81, 82, a little bit of Tomo on the front cover there. This one, Liverpool champions of the Football League. Great days, great days. Yeah, this is actually from the edition of The Echo after the last game on the Cop. So you got some fantastic Liverpool legends on show there. Neil Ruddock, a floppy haired Jamie Redknapp, Rob Jones, Steve Harkness, David James in a boss looking cap, and loads of the bits and pieces. That was a recent addition. Suarez was the first player to sign that, which is pretty decent, like, and you got a bit of Rafa there, and Jan Molby's on there as well, and one or two others. And again, loads of this stuff is that we went for a feel where, you know, there was loads of like the pennant. There's loads of like Liverpool tie you can get, obviously, but we wanted to really, you know, bring some real stuff to the studio. And like I say, this is all stuff that I had kicking around in my loft from as a kid and from my dad growing up and stuff, old editions of the Echo and stuff. And then down here we had the Sabutio on the table. What's boss about this, boss, is that I painted the socks white on that as a kid and put the number 1 on the back for David James, so that it mirrored the 96-97 goalkeeper kit, because I was massive geek. Over here we had the Football Blogging Awards from 2013 and 2014 as well. Pride of place. One thing people always ask me though is why is there a print of Zinedine Zidane? Like, long-term viewers of the show will know that we changed things up when we did Deadline Day in January to make the show a little bit less Liverpool-centric and a bit more bipartisan. So we actually got a load of old Liverpool programmes behind this, but it's an absolute ball ache to open. There's actually Chris's blood is actually on the reverse of this. The last time we took the back off, lacerated his fingers badly, so Zidane stayed up, and to be fair, if anyone's worthy of keeping the place in the Redmen TV studio, it's probably Zizou, who is also my favourite non-Liverpool player of all time. So we're coming over into the corner, we've got all the old books and stuff. Some of the Brian Reed stuff, Robbie's autobiography, Didi's Mark Lawrenson's, who was a better player than he was a football commentator, Sensible World of Soccer, best footy game ever, little mug we picked up at the Burnabout, FA Premier League stars, yeah, Actress Soccer Club edition, and even better, the coup de grace, Michael Owen's World League Soccer 99. Yeah, not so much. Moving on, some more stuff. Onside Soccer Manager, the worst football management game of all time. Sensible Soccer 2006, which is dreadful. FA Manager, a load of other bits and pieces. There's the Sabutio box down there, Liverpool FC, the Mighty Reds video, DVDs and all that shite. There is a model of Brucey. A little bit of Brucey there, which me 2-year-old broke the arm of the other day, so he's in less than perfect condition, and a bit of Rushy as well, all from the 80s and 90s. These are long-term mainstays of the show. You've got Gerrard, Carragher, Suarez and Carroll. Probably need to make an updated version of those figures, to be fair. Best thing about that is Andy Carroll's receding hairline, which is absolutely tremendous. And Jamie Carragher's still got banana from where Chris made him fist a banana. There's a whole story behind that. Anyway, let's go behind the most important addition to the studio since we've been here was a heater. Yeah, because it's fucking freezing in here. It's -5 on a good day, so this just basically means that we haven't died of exposure while we've been filming the shows over the years. Let's go actually behind the scenes now. We started to dismantle the place. Anyone wondering where Chris's tactics corner was? It was once proudly placed here. It's now gone. It's now packed up. We used to operate out these corners as well. But this is a really cool thing, and we've had to take it apart in a minute. But you can see this is where we do our mixing of the shows. You've got the different camera setups on here. And to be honest, when that came in, that was the single greatest day of my life up to that point. When we got that in and we got the mixer working, I literally sat here and wept because it meant I didn't have to sit watching my own face on a computer screen for 2 or 3 days a week. That's now the job of you people watching at home. But yeah, it's been great. What a massive step. Well, I think that's the most important thing about it. And get a bit soppy and sentimental. If you've never really watched the show before, then you probably won't give 2 tugs of a dead dog's cock whether we're moving out of here or not. Those of you who've only watched the show since we've been in here, you're probably thinking, what are you going to do? This is actually our fourth studio in nearly 5 years. So obviously the biggest and best one we've had yet, and a massive step up. But you know, we started off we shot the pilot in the living room of a shared house. We then started the series on YouTube in the living room of a shared flat. Then me and my missus moved into a house and we annexed the back room, and then we built that up, and then we moved to the Dovedale. And you know, it's been bossing. That, you know, we put some real graft in getting this place into a decent. Actually, the real graft. Me and Chris up a ladder with a staple gun, stapling cushion wadding to the ceiling. There you go. They don't show you that shit on Soccer AM. That is so because the sound was genuinely dreadful in it. It's still not great, but it was abysmal before we put that stuff up. So yeah. So like I say, it's been a nearly 2 years since we've been here, and it's definitely sad that we're going to be moving on. But you know, we've got a temporary home that we're going to move into another part of the building, and then long term, who knows what the future holds? We don't quite know where we're going just yet. But if it's half as good as it's been since we've been in here, then it's going to be absolutely monumental in the years to come. So do let us know your thoughts, any fond memories, any suggestions for what you want the new studio to look like. More of this, less of this, better things, worse things, whatever. All in the comments section below. And do remember as well, like, because people wondered about this. The reason Redmen TV exists is ultimately because of the people who subscribe on redmentv.com. If it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I understand that. But, you know, it's through the support and love of the people who do subscribe on the website are the reason why all of this exists and why the YouTube content exists. And they're the real heroes of Redmen TV, the real fans, the real supporters, and the real people who make, I say, everything that we've done in these last few years possible. So, you know, the more people who subscribe, I'd like to think you can see from the god-awful studios we started out to get into this, and hopefully you'll see when we get a new place, you know, the incremental steps up we've taken, and that's all down to the people who support us along the way. So anyway, like I say, go on the redmentv.com if you will. It's free for a month to try it out and see what we're doing. Past that, it's just £2 a month, and like I say, I hope you can see that, you know, the money that comes in through the website gets put into frames for all my old shit, amongst other things. So yeah, thanks very much for watching the show. Hopefully bigger and better things to come from Redmen TV. From next week, we're going to be in the new temporary studio, and then onwards and upwards from there. Thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up if you can, please, and check out the redmentv.com. Cheers.
Needs one of them to step up and like at least he was there in the right time.
And Lovren wasn't shite either.
No, we fucking went in like the right time, won a good few balls, and like I'm happy with it anyway. Big game, we needed to win that, like definitely to push on for fourth.